Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games from the Game Pass collection, bringing you 3 unique perspectives from varying skill range. I am the rocker of this episode, Andrew. With me are Stoner, Keith.
Hello.
And with us are Carl, Aaron.
Okay. All right. So you got a good one there.
Okay.
I was curious if you had good names here.
It actually got your approval?
Yeah. I like Carl.
Okay. This week was my pick. We played Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Oh, I did not pull up the studio.
Ghost Ship?
Ghost Ship is the publisher.
They're the publisher. Dang it. I saw the name pop up like 15 times at the beginning, and you'd think I'd remember. For some reason, Ghost Ship was the only thing that stuck out.
Fun Bay Games, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Ghost Ship publisher, they're the ones who originally did it. It's Coffee Stain who does the original Deep Rock Galactic. So I'm assuming Ghost Ship is the one that actually owns the IP.
So this is a totally different studio that made this one?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense.
I mean,
But,
yeah, it's just you're borrowing the art style,
assets.
cosmetic.
Yeah.
The assets. Well, that's not even the assets because it's kind of like new assets. But anyway, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is obviously based off of the Deep Rock Galactic Survivor or Deep Rock Galactic IP. We are playing 4 different dwarf classes, which of course have 3 different subsections. But this is a survivor game, so it is a top-down dodging enemies while your guns just shoot enemies, and you are trying to get deeper and deeper to complete the run. Level up your character, level up your weapons, try to get some masteries to improve your weapons or your characters and your classes. Rinse and repeat. Typical survivor game. But going around to whether or not this is a game or pass, I guess I will start this off. For me, this is a definite game. This actually might be my favorite survivor game. You know, I really, really enjoyed Brotato, really enjoyed Vampire Survivor, but Deep Rock Galactic Survivor really just hooked me. And it is weird because I'm playing this and I'm like, oh, this is the exact same thing over and over again. This really does not change much. And then I went, you know what? I really don't care. I'm going to keep playing this. Because I remember when I had that thought, I was like, oh, I'll probably play this for a couple more hours. And, I'll probably get sick of doing the same thing over and over again. But I was like, no, this is a lot of fun. And I was surprised too, because it's like, oh, the Deep Rock Galactic IP, like, isn't really going to add that much flavor. But the mining mechanics in this games are a ton of fun. So this is a definite game. I had a blast with this game.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and just make it an easy echo on that of a definite game. It's a survivor game, and it's a roguelike, and it's got all those things. So naturally, I'm in. Like, that's at a baseline, I'm there. And so going into it, I knew I was going to enjoy it. This game has been either out or talked about for a while. Is that right?
It's been in early access on Steam for a while.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, because I feel like I had seen it, and I remember thinking, like, boy, that sounds like a ton of fun. I would like to do that.
Yeah, Javier from Nerd Talk Plus kept mentioning it in our Discord because he knew it was coming to Game Pass. He's like, you guys should check it out. And he absolutely was right.
Okay. So that'll make sense. But anyways, it's 100% a definite game for me. If you even remotely have ever liked a survivor game, you're going to like this. I think Andrew's right. I really think this might be one of the best ones I've played. There's some really, really good ones out there. Obviously, I plunged, I don't know, stupid amounts of hours into Brotato. I'll still every now and then pick it up for like one run or so, just something to play. I really like that game. Aaron recently put me on Megabonk. That's going to take hours of my life for sure. But truthfully, like, this is just, there's so much fun. And it really does hinge on the mining mechanic, as you said, Andrew. Like, it creates a different flair to the game that while you're doing the same thing over and over again, it doesn't change it so drastically, but it makes every run feel just a little bit different because we can talk about that a little bit more, but it is one of the best survivor games that's available right now, and it's on Game Pass. It's actually still available, I think, on the lowest tier, which we haven't talked about that. We can talk some of that, but I believe this one is actually still available on the lowest tier. So maybe that's going to be a whole new category of how we rank games. Because for that value, this is an absolutely worth the game, because I think at the end of the day too, it's like $15. So if it goes to leave, just buy it with your 20% discount. If they didn't take that from us,
I want to say it's $12.
It might be, but again,
they're usually really cheap.
But I'm just saying, take your 20% discount if it's still available, and buy it if it ever leaves Game Pass, because it's just a good game to have in the catalog.
Yeah, it's $13 on Steam.
Yeah, that's a crazy good bargain. This is one of those games that was going to be a no-brainer slam dunk for all three of us. So this is obviously a definite game for me as well. My evolution into this type of genre of game, though, is kind of funny. Vampire Survivor is the first one. I like that. I had a lot of fun with that.
Was that your first episode with us? Vampire Survivor?
I think it might have been, actually.
Good memory if that was the case. You guys had me get into Bro Potato. Yeah, Bro Potato. Yeah, I was like, it's not Bro Potato. Why is that sound wrong?
I do kind of like Bro Potato, though.
I like that's the game that anytime my son's talking about, he's like, the egg guy. And I was like, yeah, I don't know why he's an egg, but that one always throws me off. So I like that one enough that I actually bought the DLC for that one.
Yep, same here.
So I played a crap ton of the DLC because that was super cheap. And then 2 bangers back to back here. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor and Megabonk basically at the same time.
So, Aaron, which one's better?
Here's where I'm at. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is better than Megabonk.
Ooh.
And we'll get into the reasons why, and the gameplay is going to have a huge... I think Megabonk might have a bigger ceiling. I think that it's still got legs to grow. And I think Megabonk will be amazing in the long run. And it's much more community driven. It's much more about a giant leaderboard everyone's kind of fighting over. But Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, its meta progression is outstanding. And it actually offers more variety in gameplay than you're actually giving it.
Yeah.
You're talking about, let's just dig through the floors. Sure, there's that. There's also the escort missions. There's also the mastery missions, the class mastery missions. So there's
the bio mastery missions.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of additional stuff there. And I think that's truly where the secret sauce is actually built into all of that. Yeah. So right now, I think the 2 greatest Survivor games you could play right now is either Megabonk or Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I would slightly give the edge to Deep Rock just because of its variety. But definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Vampire Survivor was the game that really kind of, I don't want to say created the Survivor like, but really made it take off. Actually, like
I think it was the one that popularized it. Yes.
Yeah, like Bullet Hells and this kind of games had been around for a little, or I guess more like Bullet Heaven, because you're the massive bullets. But it's like, because you had games like Enter the Gungeon and stuff like that, but those were more twin stick shooters.
Exactly.
But the actual aspect of the Survivor, where all you do is move, and like, because I mean, let's be honest, there's no story. We don't really have to talk about that, right? Like you're going down the mines.
Andrew always finds a way to pull some story out.
I will say the actual story of Deep Rock Galactic is, you're a mining corporation that finds this planet that, of course, is enriched with a whole bunch of minerals, and dwarves being dwarves are going to mine those minerals. But of course, this planet is also infested with aliens that just are trying to defend their home and essentially just try to kick you out and kill you. So you are trying to basically just work for an evil corporation.
Where are you getting that story, Andrew?
Well, that was the actual story of Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah, that's a different game. What's the story of this one?
This one does nothing. So yes.
Okay. So anyway, continue, Keith.
They're sending you down. They're sending you down a solo path.
But to be clear, also I should note though, you do not need to play Deep Rock Galactic to understand Survivor.
Correct.
Just play Survivor.
100%. But yeah, the aspect of the Survivor game itself is that it's the one stick, and it's one of the wildest things about this whole genre, and I think even the Deep Rock Survivor in particular, for some reason, all you do is you hold a stick and you move and you move and there is so much skill involved in that one little motion, and the game is just so crazy dynamic around such a simple mechanic. It's the thing about these games that I think are just so wild to me, and it makes them so much fun.
I want to study these games, I want to understand this because Andrew kind of pointed to it too at the beginning of it's so repetitive and yet it gets its hooks in you so quickly. And I don't know why.
Well, it's like you said, the meta progression in this game is really good.
The meta progression is really good in this game. It is. And that for me is like 100% of the draw. Where look at Brotato. Brotato's meta progression is basically, can you master the characters? Can you beat them on the highest difficulties? That's it. And you unlock other characters by doing certain things in the game. Megabonk, kind of similar. You're kind of doing these challenges, you're unlocking things with those challenges. This one, you can upgrade your character, you can upgrade equipment, you can get equipment, so it's got a little bit of looter quality in there. You can upgrade that equipment, and then you can go through these masteries, and these masteries put permanent upgrades on your weapons when you're completing those masteries. So yeah, it's that meta progression I think is part of it, but it is repetitive. Like the game is, but it's also challenging. It's really hard to put a finger on why these games are just so dang addicting.
Well, one thing about Deep Rock, and a lot of them do this to some variation, but you pointed it out. It's the different game types. It's the masteries. It's the escort missions. It's the different types of masteries. It's all those different levels. Because like the anomaly dives is the furthest I've gotten. Andrew just had the screen up. The lethal operations are the highest of them. I think that's like a weekly challenge, and they just throw in these wild variants, and it's like you can only use these 4 weapons, and one of them is like I think actually that one's like a level up mastery, but it things like everything is like double strength, or like everything's the explosive bugs. Like it makes it so much fun. You're still doing the same thing over and over again. They're absolute variations in the gameplay, and again, all you're doing is just pushing the left stick or the right stick too. That's something I like about this game. If you're just gonna be a game where I move the stick around, let me choose which one I want to use. Sometimes I want to give my left thumb a break and just use my right thumb.
I didn't know you could change the stick.
I don't know you could either.
It
Never
just,
tested it.
Literally mid-game. It just, you don't have to do anything. It's just they both are active at all times.
I didn't even think about that.
Like, even though we are complaining that it's repetitive, for a Survivor game, this game has a lot to it. Like, if you look back at, like, Vampire Survivor had different levels, and some of those levels kind of like little hidden Easter eggs and stuff you could find. But essentially, you're kind of doing the same thing. And then with Brotato, one map. You're just different characters, same enemies.
Square.
Yeah. But when it comes to Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, you have the 5 different biomes, which obviously in the Deep Rock Galactic, you have the different enemy types that are kind of varied between each level. Like you have obviously a lot of the same generic ones, but there's certain ones where like the little explosive guys are only on the weld. I think it was the cavernous weld or something like that. The roly guys are only in the salt area. So like you actually have these different enemy varieties. Every mission also there's 3 types of side quests you can do, but side quests are easy. It's either mine a specific ore, collect mushrooms, or collect flowers. But there is actually a lot of variety in this game. On paper, and when you look at it, you don't think there is. Like you're still going around mining, shooting bugs, upgrading your stuff. But it's just like the little variety of it is awesome and super addictive. Like the weapon catalog in this game is super impressive. And like already what I always hate about a lot of Survivor games is RNG. If you're just not getting the stuff, like, yeah, you're going to lose. But this game surprisingly has a lot of skill, because if you play any other Survivors, there's usually a point where you can just stand still, literally put the controller down, and you will win the game. You can do that in Brotato. You can do that in Vampire Survivor. It is almost impossible in Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. There was like 1 or 2 runs I had where I was smoking everything. But the game throws a good amount of elites at you. Even generic enemies right off the get-go take quite a bit of damage. So like you have to move, you have to kite people by mining, and it just works so well, and it's so fun.
Yeah. And this kind of comes down to like I kind of wonder if in the long run, if Deep Rock Galactic will be known more for this game or for its main game. Because to me, this feels like such a natural fit for such a Survivor game. And it's like you said, I think they were really smart in kind of sending kind of elites to you pretty early on and forcing you to move. it wants you to move, and it wants you to explore through the walls. And I do love that about this game so much. Again, to the point where you're like, man, I hope this is kind of where the direction of this game kind of continues to grow, just because I think it's such a natural and good fit for it. Um, I I will say, I think right now, this is an area though that I'd still say Megabonk is a little bit better. Megabonk is 100% you have to explore the map, and the map is totally different all the time, and it's totally vertical. So it's not just like a horizontal plane like this. So it
It's
is
like
a little
Risk
bit
of
more
Rain.
interesting because every map you have to move just like you do in this. You cannot stand still. You have to move and you have to collect things and discover things on your map as quickly as possible. But man, this one's darn close, and this does a good job with just walls. Walls are just a part of this process. Like you need them. Um, so yeah, just a ton of fun. Just a ton of fun.
Yeah,
So
when you get to the end and there's like no more walls, it gets pretty hairy.
Yes.
Oh, that's the worst, because especially if you've got a build that's like ricochet weapons that you're expecting them to go off. Also, you are toast. But I have an important question for Aaron. When you first played this, did you in fact think that you needed to clear out the entire map before you could proceed? I just want to say that quickly.
I did not, because this game was very clear in its instructions. There is a
This game had
dwarf.
no instructions. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but the dwarf always tells you what to do.
That's true.
He always tells you the elite is out. You need to kill him. And he warns you every time that the monsters are getting stronger. And then the moment literally a giant green arrow appears on your map telling you
With
to
a
go
giant
this way
timer.
and a giant timer. It is impossible to miss. So the instructions are very, very clear in this game on what you're doing. In fact, I don't know if there was a single thing I was confused on in this game.
Some things, okay, like one thing I still don't fully understand. Whenever you overclock, all right, so anytime your character levels up in the game, you're collecting these little blue chips. Sometimes they're purple, but you have an experience bar. Once you start leveling up, you are given 3 options for an upgrade. They could either be an upgrade for your weapon, or they could be like a general upgrade, like all weapons reload 9% faster. Anytime you pick an upgrade for a weapon, though, it has these little little pings on the side of it, and it builds up a meter. Anytime you get a weapon to level 5, increments of 5 or 6, you have an ability to overclock the weapon, which is a very strong upgrade. So let's say in the gameplay footage I'm showing, it's a laser gun that ricochets off a bunch of enemies. I can increase how many times it ricochets, or I could maybe reduce its reload speed but increase its fire rate, like kind of weird things like that. They're very strong upgrades. But one thing that was always confusing to me, I don't know if you noticed at the bottom, you could salvage the overclock, and I didn't get the purpose of that. Like right on the screen right there was a salvage option.
I never
did
saw
it
that
once, and I think it just gives you either a rare or an epic or legendary.
Yeah, I think
it
might depend on what level of overclock it is. Like, I'm wondering if you sacrifice the top level one, if you get like a guaranteed legendary, and it's something like that.
But why? But why would I want to? Because the overclock abilities are so good.
Yeah.
None of them are really worth giving up.
They do have some negatives to them,
but they almost always come with such a positive, because a lot of the negatives too will actually change the guns. So like one of them, at least one of my least favorite starting guns, I can't remember the name of it, but it's got like the 4-way shot, and it's just like a quick semi-auto, pretty quick reload, low damage. But that thing, when you hit the overclock where it gets the spiral shot, and it's basically like a constant fire, that thing just absolutely kicks, and it's so much fun. And like a lot of them kind of have that. So yeah, I have no real understanding why you would not take them. A question I have, and you won't see it until the next time you pick a weapon. When you're selecting a weapon, you'll sometimes notice that down on your weapon bar, there's these little like whitish yellow dots, and each weapon will have a different number above them. I think it's like a potato type of mechanic of like you're picking a heavy weapon and have like 2 heavy weapons already, so it's giving you 3 dots, but I haven't figured out how it works or what it does.
Oh, all right. So I explained that.
Because doesn't that affect your speed?
No, all right. So every
I assume
weapon
it's a
has
bonus.
tags. So
Yeah,
every
I
weapon
assume it's
has
a bonus.
tags to it. Like it'll be like, oh, is this a light gun, a heavy gun? Is this a throwable? Is this an explosive? Every gun
Mhm.
usually has about like 5 different tags. You know, does it do kinetic damage, which is just basic, or does it do fire, plasma, whatever? So a lot of upgrades that I said that you get are generic, like oh, improve reloads of all guns by 9%. That'll specifically say all guns, but then you'll get one that says improve kinetic guns by 9%. And if
Yeah.
you put your cursor over it, it shows at the bottom which guns have that tag. So if you were saying, oh, I want to upgrade fire, it'll show at the bottom, it'll do a blip on them as showing, oh, these are your fire guns. Is that what you're talking about, Keith?
That's when you're picking upgrades. I'm talking
Yeah.
specifically about when you're picking guns. And I think it still has to do with the tags. Like it's like, okay, you have 2 heavy weapons already and you're picking potentially a 3rd heavy weapon versus not. But where there's so many tags, which one is it specifically going off of? I don't know. And what does that bonus give me? Like in Brotato, it's very clear. Like if you have 4 soul weapons, you get this bonus. At least I didn't look too hard for it, truthfully, but
Yeah.
I didn't see where it was telling me that either.
Well, it's the same thing. So it'll have multiple dashes if it shares multiple tags. Because, like I said, every gun has about like 4 different tags. So if you're hovering over a gun, it's like, oh, it'll share 2 tags. Like it shares the kinetic and it shares the light style gun tag. So that's why
Okay, so
some
it's
will only have
about
one dash, some will have multiple dashes.
So this makes sense, and I think you're answering my question. It's more of a strategic thing. So
Yes.
you're trying to see, okay, this is going to give me like 4, you're building higher on that thing so that when you're picking these upgrades that are global, you're likely upgrading your whole arsenal, not just 1 gun or 2 guns. Got it.
Correct. Yeah. Because that's the other thing too. So as we said, there's 4 different classes. If you've played Deep Rock Galactic, it's the same 4 classes, but each one also has 3 mods each. So with the Scout, you have Classic Scout. All he does is he gets like increased move speed and I think increased health. Then you have the what's this next version of it? Oh, it's the like Light Scout. He has increased dodge. Then the last one's Sharpshooter. He has increased crit chance. So each one of them has their own kind of different class, but also that only certain weapons are available with certain classes. So the Scout can't carry any heavy guns. He will never get the chain gun. He'll never get the thunderstorm. He'll never get the rocket launcher. So that's unless there is a perk where you'll get a random weapon. There's an artifact you can get that'll equip a 6th random weapon. I guess that's one way to do it. But yeah, also the Scout I don't think uses any throwables. So that's the other cool thing about this game is like depending what class you're picking, you're kind of stuck with some weapons you can get.
I think some of the items actually can do that too, because I'm pretty sure I got one. I saw it said it unlocked like elementals or something like that.
Yeah.
I will say, I think it's just going to be a matter of opinion, but I did think the class differences weren't great. Like I don't notice that much of a difference of a run between each of the classes. I
Oh, I
understand
do.
that the guns you get are different, but you can succeed with any of those guns.
I think the biggest difference I noticed is with the driller, just because of the mining speeds right off of the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mining
else
speed's awesome.
everybody else just feels similar, and this is maybe maybe this is just something I really haven't tested out because I think I've just been progressing in the game. But I don't feel like a lot of these upgrades I'm doing, I'm noticing a difference in game from them. I
Oh,
probably
man.
need to go back and do a hazard one just to feel the difference.
So the
Like, I'm
gameplay I'm
curious
showing
if-
is Hazard 5.
Yeah, I'm curious if I go back to a hazard one, if like, oh, okay, now I feel it. Because I wonder if I'm just progressing naturally as I'm going, so it just doesn't, I'm not noticing. But I'm always waiting for that moment, which is kind of normal in a survivor game to where like you're dominating everyone.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
Andrew, you kind of mentioned like you've had some runs, and yeah, I've had a few runs where like, oh, I'm kind of ripping everyone to shreds right now, but it's pretty rare in this one.
Yeah, I definitely lose more than I win in this.
Yeah, I feel like this is leaning into the survivor element of that, of just trying to live. But I don't know. Maybe I need to go back to go back to Hazard 1, go to the lowest level, and just see if I can feel it then, and be like, oh, okay.
I mean,
This
a
was
little
challenging
bit,
once; it's not challenging anymore.
a little bit, and I think it's all about kind of rolling bonuses that you get across things too. It's because of the different areas that you can get all this meta progression, where you can get the bonuses from the biome masteries and the bonuses separately from the class masteries and the bonuses from the gun masteries and just the normal bonuses. Like you have all these different things, and they do start to compound. And you're right, you're going to notice it most going back to those lower ones. But yeah, I think that's kind of one of the things that I like most about Deep Rock is that it feels just much more engaged. Like it doesn't feel too hard. It doesn't feel like, man, they're outpacing me. Like, but it absolutely has a feel to it where you're kind of always on that edge of survival, and I do enjoy that about it. But yeah, I can't tell you how many of my runs end with really just me making boneheaded moves, and that's it's like the most frustrating part, but it's part of what makes you want to go back so much more. I think because I'm just
absolutely.
like, man, I was just about to hit the ship and I didn't see those 4 explosive guys and I ran right through them and died.
Yep.
Like the amount of dumb times I do stuff like that, I'm like, well, now I have to go again because I know I can beat this. I just have to not do that thing next time when I don't encounter that situation next time.
That's not the dumb thing I always end up doing is I have a bunch of aliens chasing me. I go to the ship, and then I see a big cluster of cubes over there that I can go collect. I go to collect them and realize that all those aliens now are cutting off my pathway to the ship because I just kited them in front of the ship. So that's my stupid, like, gosh darn it. And now I'm blocked off of it.
The worst is when you go to collect that stuff, realize you're too slow to get back to the drop pod, and the drop pod leaves without you, and you lose your run.
I have never had the drop pod leave me behind. I've never had that
Really?
yet. Never had that yet.
I shared a clip in the Discord. I was going to select one of my last skills, and I went to pick, it was like a 4% move speed. I was like, I think that's going to get me just enough to get there. I accidentally hit the jump boots. Instead, hit the jump, landed, I swear, on the ladder as it was going away, and it flew off without me. I was like, if I just had that extra 4% move speed, I would have been there.
I mean, the moment it tells me to get to the ship,
You don't hesitate.
I'm moving.
You don't do anything. I always stretch it. Now, and I think you want to because there's at least for score bonuses, but I don't know. I don't pay attention as much to the score bonus.
Keith.
I will go around and around in circles. Oh, okay. Yeah, Andrew's got it up for me. But yeah.
So you didn't even have the drop pod at this point?
No.
It's there. See? 12 seconds left.
I had plenty of time here.
No, you do not. What's wrong with you?
Accidentally hit the jump boots.
You asked for that.
I had this. I absolutely had that. If
No, you did not.
Just me standing dead center.
I'm sorry. That is 100% your fault. You didn't even have this. You didn't even have the drop pod.
You just live with no risk, Aaron. No risk at all.
This is why you guys are like, oh, I've missed the ship. And I'm like, I don't. I'm always there. It's because it's always pretty close. They always keep it kind of close to you. There's plenty of time to get there. Like I've been killed on my way there, but I've never outright just missed the ship.
See, it's only been a couple times because I will say it was like my first it was one of my first 3 runs. I missed it because also I didn't know. So that was obviously a learning thing where it's like, oh, whoops. But there was a couple times it happened. It's the enemy literally was between me and the ship. So I'm trying to kite people around. There was more walls. I got to quickly dig through and I just didn't have time. I didn't have enough dig speed.
Oh,
so
to me,
it's only happened like a couple times.
And like I said, to me, I've died on my way there. So I've had situations where I've been cut off, but I'm like, well, I'm going through the crowd and going to see if I can make it to the other side. And most times you will, but there's sometimes you do not have enough health to make that push. But I do want that I want that noted right now. Andrew didn't understand the very simple instructions to get to the ship.
That was like,
I didn't know what would happen if you missed it.
Did you have to watch a tutorial for this game, Andrew? It's not that hard. He literally says, get to the ship with a giant green arrow and a countdown.
And it does say
it'll end your run if you don't get to the ship.
What
do you think happens?
It does say it's going to leave without you.
It does say that.
He didn't say that yet for me.
He
doesn't
does.
always
Yeah,
say that. He
clear.
didn't say it yet for me.
I'm pretty sure
Get
he says that
outta
every
here.
time.
Get out of here. I want redemption for my Blueprints episode.
No,
Andrew didn't know how to get to the drop pod.
This is true.
Embarrassing.
when it was very
One of the
clear
worst things
with the
though is
instructions.
I won. I killed the final boss, and you still have to get to the drop pod to complete and finish your run. And I
Mhm.
died. I died trying to get into the drop pod. I was pissed because it was to unlock the Hazard 4, which anytime. So as you're progressing, there is like a campaign where you Hazard 1 is obviously, or Hazard 0 you start at. You have each of the biomes, the 5 biomes, and you have side quests on them. Every one, of course, at least one of the side quests is complete a dive. But then it'll be like, oh, upgrade this gun to level 12. Or, jump through the sky and land on 12 blocks and like clear stuff out. Harvest 100 gold. Like these random kind of side quests. And you have to do a certain amount of side quests in order to unlock the ability. The game literally gatekeeps you. You have to get to the gate in order to unlock Hazard 1, which is like a harder like run. It's a preset run. And if you complete it, you unlock Hazard 1 and so on and so forth up to Hazard 5. But of course, you also will find random drops. You can equip armor and different pieces of equipment on your character, so you'll get stronger. So obviously, if you're playing on a higher hazard, you have a higher chance of getting higher gear score. So there's obviously a much greater incentive to keep playing on higher hazards. But yeah, so to unlock like one of those main hazards, like those missions are usually super hard. And I completed it, and right at the end I died. I was quite furious. But that's the great thing too about this. The runs are quick. A basic run is 5 layers. Each layer usually takes about like a minute or two. Oh, I will say this is another thing I'm kind of confused on. As soon as you start a run, there's a giant bar on the top of the screen that's slowly filling up. And even it has these marks on it. So, it's like a timer. Oh, once the bar hits this, a drop pod will come. If a bar hits this, a swarm will come, or an elite will come, something like that. I don't quite know what fills that bar. I want to say it's time, but I think it's kills. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's always progressing up, but I think if you're killing the floor really quick, I think it feels faster, but I don't fully know.
I thought it was time.
Time definitely is a factor because there's moments where I have a lot of speed and I run from the people and I'm not shooting and it's still filling. But I think it feels faster for killing.
So on the escort missions in particular, it's directly tied to where Bob 33 is. So that only progresses with Bob 33. Now with the regular one, I assumed it had something to do with the kills, like how quickly you clear out the swarm and things like that. Because I think in particular with the swarm, like if you're on like the weld or meld or whatever it's called, that area in particular, like you'll have like a certain number of those ones that spawn them, the little guys. And I think it's like, they're almost like checkpoints. I think that you can move along faster, like make it move faster, but it will slowly progress over time. If that makes sense.
It
might be 100% time, but I think it's a combination is what I think it is.
It just seems to progress at the same amount of time every time. Like,
well, the exception of the last
slight.
one. The last one is the difference. And this is why I think it's a combination, because it's specifically, I can tell you that if you clear out all of the cocoons and then it unlocks your ability to kill the final cocoon. So you can start the final boss early.
Thank you, Alex, in the chat. I desperately needed someone just to tell me that I was okay for my takes on Blueprints. I desperately needed that. Thank you.
But well, Alex in the chat also brought up a thing I really want to complain about, and that is the lack of multiplayer in this game. But yeah, Alex did mention that Vampire Survivor is getting online co-op. But yeah, it's weird that Deep Rock Galactic is a very multiplayer-focused, heavy game, and this is strictly single player.
That feels this. I honestly assumed that this had multiplayer. I assumed it did. Kind of crazy that Vampire Survivors, I think, is going to be the first one to do it.
Nope, Brotato.
In this genre, Brotato did it.
Yep, Brotato has. I think it's just 2-player. It might have 4, but
I thought it was just couch co-op for Brotato.
It might be couch co-op
because Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, you're right. It's only couch co-op, but either way, it's multiplayer.
So, tell me this. With that all said, because I totally get what you're saying. Like, this is such a social game, it feels like it should naturally have it. Would you want it?
Mhm.
Yeah, why not?
I don't
Two
know
re-
if this would like.
2
I
reasons,
don't
because you
know
could
if this
you
would be fun.
it would, because you could put in um like what's like raid style bosses. You could do stuff like that. You could how much fun is it? Like, you're sitting here laughing at me not making it back to the ship, just watching that run. What if we're all playing together and I'm the one who doesn't make it to the ship because I'm off
I,
doing something stupid like that? You're gonna
I'm
laugh, but
just
it's also
feeling
gonna
like
throw off the whole run now because you need the 4 people on the run you're at.
this is just one of those types. Like, I think this is sometimes a hard game to just watch as an observer because so much is happening on the screen. I feel like if you add another person here with all of their weapons, all of their upgrades, all of their explosions, I feel like the game just becomes.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
If you
that
do
is gonna be
like
your
an
tough part,
elemental
right?
build, yeah, your screen is littered
I
with
know.
stuff.
That's where I'm just kind of wondering, like, I don't know, does this just kind of get washed out in noise at that point? So I am kind of curious because it's the same thing with Vampire Survivor. So once people start playing co-op with that, I'm kind of curious to see what that looks like. Like, does that actually work? Is it
Well,
just
so
kind of a cool idea, but in practice, it just isn't as fun?
I think
See?
one thing that Vampire Survivor, and I think Brotato does as well, is everyone levels up at the same rate, at least,
Yeah.
so that it takes away that aspect of, like, how do you handle the selection screens? Sure, maybe you wait a couple extra seconds because Andrew's trying to figure out what he wants or whatnot, but at the end of the day, like, everyone pauses and goes back in at the same time, so it makes that easy. But again, I think if you just make the maps big enough, because think of Diablo. I mean, you have 30 people fighting,
Yeah.
these world bosses, and those are just chaos, but those track pretty well. Because you're right. Like, if you don't know what's going on, none of this makes sense. But if you're playing it and you do know what's going on, you
Yeah.
know that none of the enemies put down fire on the ground. So, well, yeah, it takes up a lot of visual space. That fire's always safe because that's always friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just curious to see it in action. But again, I'm with you. I thought naturally this was going to have it. Can I also just list one of my very few gripes on this game? I don't necessarily love the variety or lack thereof of bosses
Yeah,
because
there's two.
the game's concept, its core, how you're progressing through the game is the same. How you get through that level changes, but at the end, you're really faced with, is it really just 2?
Yeah, you're either fighting the twins or you're fighting the gargantuan. That was it.
Yeah. I wish there was a little bit more to that. But again, it's kind of a small gripe just because it's not like the end of the world for me, but it would have just helped if there was a little bit more variety.
I have a couple gripes. Another gripe I have is stability. I had this game crash on me a handful of times, which was very infuriating. To me, it seemed like the more you played, like a longer session you have, I'm curious if this game suffers from a memory leak.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what happened. If
That's
it
the
was like a
Borderlands
2+
issue right
hour, it would crash on me. And also I had a couple frame rate, a handful of times where frame rate dip.
I
Well,
was getting
there's-
that even on PC, and I have a beefy PC. So I would get random, like, just stutter where it
Yep.
like almost froze for like a half second.
It's froze on me a couple times.
I've played this. Yeah, I've played this on console too. I haven't run into issues, but I haven't gone that long of a session on console. I've gone that long of a session on PC, and it's been fine. But yeah, obviously memory leak issues, very similar issues are happening with Borderlands on Xbox and PlayStation. The console versions of that are having that same thing. The longer you play it, the worse it starts to perform. I don't know if that's all been fixed. But I think those are all fixable issues.
They are, yeah.
Have to do it.
I mean, another one of my complaints, which we'll get into a little bit later, is the audio. The audio in this game is awful.
Yep. I think I mean, I might as well just jump into it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the music was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, it's fine at best.
And it honestly just turns off at certain points. Like if your level's on, it'll just go away. Like this is one of those games you could absolutely just turn it off.
They did not build a
entirely.
repeat track button. It
No,
literally just like track over.
And 2025, we got, I think, a handful of some of the best game soundtracks we've had in many, many years. This won't be one of them.
No.
This one will be very forgettable. No one's pulling this up on Spotify. I'll put it that way.
I will tell you what, and I don't know, I'm curious, if this game had the soundtrack that Doom had, we would be praising the soundtrack of this game, but because that soundtrack fell on the Doom title, it was such a letdown.
Well, it is funny you say that, because they do say ripping and tearing at one point, so they do make a Doom reference. That also kind of drives me a little crazy in this game. I just assume every line that is said is a reference to something. And I don't know if it is.
But yes. Okay. That is my complaint. The audio that's in this, the voice acting, is exactly ripped out of the main game.
Yeah.
Which at first was like, oh, it's a reference to that other game. But then I'm like, oh, this is all of the dialogue from the other game. I already got sick of it from playing that game, and now it's here. Oh, that guy in Mission Control, he has a cushy job. This one's for you, Carl. Like, I was just like, okay, I've heard these. Like, I got it. Yeah, I turned this game's audio off.
So here's a funny thing that it's gonna sound like I'm gonna be talking negative about the game, which is, complete opposite of everything I've said of this game. I feel like this was an opportunity, like a lazy opportunity for them to cash grab on a growing and popular genre. Be like, hey, we could probably skim a game into it. And they actually, I don't want to say lucked out, but managed to pull off a fantastic product. But it's like
lucked
when you
out.
I don't want to say lucked out. It's for lack of better words, but it's just like, it actually worked so much better than maybe they expected going into it. And it's like it's like with the things like the audio, like it was just like, yeah, just throw that in there because whatever, we're just going to make this game to make it. And then it actually became something really good as part of the gameplay.
This is why I said at the beginning, I wonder if you want to call it the legacy of Deep Rock Galactic, will it be known as this? Like more than it will its original game?
I don't think so. The Deep Rock Galactic has a very strong community.
I get it. I just think that this, like we had all kind of mentioned, I think right now this is currently the best Survivor game on the market. Megabonk is a very close.
But nobody's talking about it.
Number 2.
Except for us.
I mean, people were. It was running on Steam for a long time.
Everyone's talking about Megabonk, but I don't, besides, like I said, Javier from Nerd Talk Plus, I would not have heard this game.
The only reason I heard about it is when it was coming to Game Pass. Someone had mentioned that it was a Survivor game built in the Deep Rock.
Oh, you're not its title? Its title didn't give it away that it's a Survivor game?
You can't always go on that, Andrew. We've talked about this with how many games put Rogue in their title, and it's not a roguelike. I guess
that's true.
So your little snarky remark, Andrew
is just off his game tonight. He didn't know how to play this game. It's just bad takes.
Keith, your take of they accidentally made a good game is almost similar to your Assassin's Creed Mirage stock Arabic
I'm going to
music.
defend Keith on that. I understood what Keith was saying there. Was it like you don't expect it to be a hit? It's supposed to be kind of like a cheap spin-off. And so maybe you don't focus so much on the music because like it's just supposed to be a fun little knockoff thing. I would say that they actually put more thought into this than that. I would give them a little bit more credit because there is way more depth in this than your traditional Survivor game. But I understand what Keith was saying. When he said lucked into it, I think he just meant like they fortunately made themselves a really good game.
Like even like that, even if it was just like as they were making it, they were like, oh wait, like let's actually like put a little more into this because we realized that this is more than just like a, just a throw into the genre type of thing. And I'm not saying they did that. I'm just saying it almost feels like it could have been with the music. But I will say, I think that when it comes to people's perspective of the games, that is what they look at when they see Deep Rock Survivor versus what they see when they see Megabonk. I mean, if I understand Megabonk, at least from what I saw of like, it started popping up on videos like a week before it released. And I think the guy who created it like started promoting it.
Yep.
He had this weird little viral promotion of it. And it's like very like campy. It's very much like small studio and people are going to go, oh, I want to give my money to that guy.
I'm pretty sure it's just him.
But they don't want to give their money to Deep Rock Galactic. not everyone, but I think that when people are looking at it and they're making the choice with no information at their hand, they're going to choose Megabonk for that reason.
Yeah, Megabonk just went viral.
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily makes it a better game. I do think how that guy has marketed the game has
Genius.
been brilliant, because he's literally shown he was addicted to Vampire Survivors, and then it's just created a series of videos of, I want to make my own Vampire Survivors, so here's what I'm doing. And it's him just making these really quick edits on how he created enemies, what stupid things he wanted to add to the game. And that, I think, built into its virality. So when it got to launch time, it was him kind of making jokes about his game, his stupid game. And it just kind of exploded. I think that's the only thing that's the difference.
Like Balatro.
A little bit, but Balatro takes itself slightly more serious.
Yeah.
Slightly, again, being the key word there.
But just, again, an outstanding year for indie games, by the way.
I know.
I just got to keep noting that.
Is this considered an indie?
Yes.
I would.
I mean,
this is no major
we're not arguing that it's not.
The IP
curious.
obviously is big, but can you name another game made by Fun Day Games?
I'm going to guess that studio is 15 people tops. It would be my guess.
I mean, that could lead us into the
music
point too.
Heck, I would guess the guys that made the original game probably aren't all that big too. I think that's still a pretty independent studio.
I think the studio has one other game under their belt. It says 14. They've been around for barely 14 years, though.
Doing what?
Well, that's actually good.
Making this game.
I mean, didn't
the other game, Wild Indigo Ranch.
The Deep Rock Galactic came out in like 2017, didn't it?
Yeah, it's not that old.
No. Okay.
Yeah, but Deep Rock Galactic, they didn't make Deep Rock Galactic.
No.
Oh, that's true.
That's Coffee's game.
Different studio.
You did not listen in the beginning, Keith.
I listened.
I listened.
I've been a very good listener on this episode. I would like it noted.
I don't really lock in until I start talking, so.
Don't worry, Andrew. I listened. I heard it.
Oh, man, their other game is kind of cool. It's literally like Stardew Valley in the Wild Wild West.
Sounds stupid. I won't play it.
But real quick, what I just also discovered too, this is a mobile game.
No way. Why did you tell me that?
I think it's free too. It says, free with in-app purchases.
But
Keith, you said, people not buying this game. One of the things I said earlier of, man, I would love if you could just tip the developers. And they actually have that. They have a support the developers pack, which give you gold skins for the dwarves. And it's like $5, but it literally says go straight to the developers. I bought it.
They say go straight to the developers. Did you see the check in their hand, Andrew? I don't believe it.
I mean, it would be false advertisement.
Some rich fat cat took that money.
And that's not some stupid but I just want to give you more money. It's here's $5 for a DLC pack, and we're going to acknowledge that it's, let you have it as an acknowledgement, but you're still getting something out of it. You bought skins, Andrew. You didn't tip the developers. You bought skins.
I guess.
I'm just saying
hairs.
Semantics.
I'm assuming you have to. It's not because I don't think there is just a tip button. I think Microsoft literally is like, no, you got to give the player something.
You're definitely not going to get it through Microsoft, but I bet you on mobile there's probably some sort of option like that.
I cannot believe this game is on mobile. I did not need to know
just
this.
feel like
this
it
just
would
lower your score, Aaron?
Burn my phone. No, it sounds like he's excited about it.
Yeah, the problem is now it gives me a reason to just never stop playing it. I mean, I've been playing it. I mean, right now we're just getting crushed with games. So I've been playing Borderlands. I've been playing that. And then we've got Battlefield coming out on Friday. Or by the time you're hearing this episode, it would have come out last Friday. So there's so much to play right now, and I'm liking all of it.
I know, yeah.
So it just kind of like it's what a horrible problem to have. It's
honestly,
too many games.
I would maybe argue this could possibly be one of the best year in video games. Not for the industry. The industry definitely has some issues.
Yeah.
But for games that have come out this year, because I remember last year looking at the years for Game of the Year nominations, and a lot of them just okay. Like one was on the Game Awards, the VGAs. One of them was the Elden Ring DLC, and it's like when a DLC is nominated, it's kind of a rough year. That's not really. It was a good DLC, but come on. and the other one was like a remake. Was Resident Evil 4 or something like that? It's just like okay.
Well, I go back to again. It's the indies. The indies keep killing it now.
Yeah,
they keep coming out with these games that are just hooking everybody's attention. And I think, if anything, I know that the game industry's kind of sucked in general. There's been layoffs all over the place. You know, some of those big game releases have not lived up to the expectations that they had placed upon them. I still think this year ends up becoming big because my hope is that these big companies see what these indies are doing.
Yep.
And trying to figure out, why did a game like Expedition 33, good, we kept the streak alive, we've mentioned it in every episode,
Which is getting free DLC.
why did Megabonk sell millions of copies? Like, why did all of that stuff work? And it's a combination of smart people just making a fun game and understanding what is actually enjoyable to people, and then selling it at a price that makes sense.
Yeah, to me, I think it's pricing is a big thing.
Because that's the thing. You mentioned Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. If you want to go buy it right now, it's nothing.
Yeah,
It's cheap.
$13.
Megabonk was $8.
Yeah.
$8. So of course, like, there's zero resistance in doing that. I will drop that without even thinking about it. Heck, I brought the Brotato DLC because it was like $6.
Yeah.
And it was like, of course, why wouldn't I?
Yeah,
I know
got
that
like
I
20
like
hours
this game.
out of it. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And so I do think, again, that there will be a lot of lessons learned. I'm hoping a lot of lessons will be learned in 2025. Because here's the thing. If they don't, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Because the smaller guys will just go ahead and take them over anyway.
Yep.
They're doing it right now. So either they do learn to adapt, or the indie guys will continue to just create excellent games. The indie game doesn't have a choice. If it doesn't make an excellent game, it dies. Doesn't have a choice. If Call of Duty makes a bad Call of Duty, no big deal. Call of Duty comes out next year.
They got DLC. They got skins that are going to sell.
It comes out next year. So maybe that's it. Maybe the desperation plays into it. Maybe that's just a weird kind of mix into all of this, is that if Expedition 33 sucks and nobody buys it and nobody cares about it, well, they're done. They don't have anything to fall back on.
Yeah.
But either way, new studios keep popping up. We'll continue to have amazing games. But I agree with you. I think 2025 was a sneaky, outstanding year for games.
Yeah. And it's not done yet. We're only in October.
Not even done.
But anyway, we haven't talked about the art style. Art style of this game is really good. Like, the biomes are all very unique and distinct. They play differently. They look great. The dwarves look great. The aliens look great. I mean, it's obviously a lot of the same artistic style, graphic, kind of assets borrowed. I mean, obviously you have to make new assets of the smaller versions and whatnot. But yeah, the game looks good.
Yeah, my rule is, at this point, if you're not pixelated art, I'm pretty much happy with you.
Megabonk's pretty pixelated, Aaron.
It's actually surprisingly really sharp in certain areas, but it's not 8-bit pixelated.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of got its own little like shtick to it. It's got its own little style to it. But yes, at least this game does. It's not super dark. There's some splashes of color in it, but you are in kind of a lot of dark caves.
No, and actually one of the really, like, speaking of graphics and the light, I thought one of the coolest little features of, like, graphically was as you're mining and you start to break through a wall, like, it doesn't change your visual ability to see, like, in terms of light, but you can see the light start to crack through the walls as you start to break the walls until it finally opens up, and then your light fully shines. Like, I just thought that was a really cool little visual. Again, nothing to the gameplay, but yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with any of these games, it's frame rates, and it does all right with it, except until it crashes. As Andrew said, one of the achievements I was trying to get was clearing I was trying to do it all in one shot, but it's hard to do, was clearing out the entire map of all of Rock and Stone, but also clearing it out before you even move the bob and then winning the dive. And I think I was at like hazard 12 or something, because we didn't really talk about this. Like, it really only
goes
happens
on 5.
Or not hazard.
The threat level.
Threat
like
level,
once the timer runs out on a run, the enemies get harder and harder.
Which really only happens more on the escort missions than anything, because as we said, it kind of runs the time. But the Yeah, it was like hazard level 15, and there was just so many aliens all over the screen, and all of a sudden just luck, close, and I was back at the Xbox. I mean, I was not going to make it anyways, so I wasn't too mad. I was about at the point where I was about to die, but it's still, yeah, it seems to be an issue once you get into those like the frame rates. But that's kind of on Megabonk too, at least from what I saw. First of all, my computer sucks. I dropped it down to I think like 720p, but it does run on full windowed screen, and the frame rates were good, and that's the biggest thing. Like, again, if you're going to throw hundreds of enemies on a screen, tons of projectiles, I don't really care how much the graphics look. I need the frame rates to stay consistent. Otherwise, it just gets, I don't know, what's the point of playing the game?
Yep. Pretty miserable experience when it's kind of stuttering all over the place.
The achievements though in this game are pretty awesome. There's 2,000 gamer score to be had. There's like 250 achievements, but anytime I'm playing a run, it's just achievement. Like it's just throwing stuff at you. All the achievements are worth like either 5 or 10 gamer score, so that's why there's like 250 achievements available. But to me, I think you could easily 2,000 this game. It's obviously gonna take a lot of time. I think I'm probably about like 30 hours of this game, and I am almost at 1,000 gamer score. But you essentially need to unlock the hazard 5 to really kind of get everything. But
yeah,
it's very obtainable. Just takes time.
Yeah, see, I think your words are a little funny there. It's obtainable. It just takes time. Yeah, a lot of time. I don't know if you call that attainable.
I say that because of like, case in point, Silk Song. Beat the game on like the super duper difficulty without dying once. That's not obtainable. Like, besides like the few psychos.
Isn't there
in the
one
world.
with like without even taking damage, or is that just
something like that?
A secret challenge or something? But I agree with Andrew on this one. That's your one good take of the night, Andrew.
What? I've had plenty.
It's not about it being. The game is challenging, so it's not like, oh yeah, just sit down for the evening. When you say it's obtainable, like that makes it seem like it's really easy to run through. Time is a huge factor in it. Time, you're talking about 30 hours and being halfway through it.
I know.
It's
I think
a lot.
my choice
like
worth
that
a 5.
challenge, and you're talking about hazard 5. Like it's going to get really difficult. So I don't know. We're splitting hairs here, but I agree with you. You do get a lot of achievements. That is the good feeling. You will get the dopamine hit of getting a lot of achievements because there's just a lot of them. I will never 100% this game because that's.
I think you
insane.
could, but yes,
in
the
a long
time
time.
of it, yes,
sure. In a long time, I'll get there. But you know me, I'm never looking at the achievements, so I'm not even seeing what I'm looking for. It's just I'll get one. It's like, oh, nice.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing. I don't look at them either, but it is just like, here you go. You did that. You did that. I'm like,
you're just
great.
getting them. Because I think I'm somewhere. I think I'm around like 400 gamer score on it. I was gone all last week, but holy smokes, I still played a crap ton of this game. So yeah.
Games like this, I don't necessarily always look at them as much. I'll look at them more in like story-driven games that I know I'm not going to like rinse and repeat over and over a game. But like, I don't know, Survivor games, like I'm going to do 150 runs of this no matter what happens. So I'm sure I'll get the achievements.
Yep. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a game that's going to sit on my Xbox for a while. That I'll just pop in every once in a while.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, let's get into our final thoughts here. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. As I said, this is a definite game. This is, like I said, probably, I'm just going to say it is my favorite Survivor game. I absolutely loved. I think Brotato, to me at this point, Vampire Survivor is my least favorite. I loved Vampire Survivor at the time, but looking at it now, anytime they keep coming out with DLC, I'm kind of like, I'd rather play Brotato. I mean, I've already maxed out Brotato, so I don't play that anymore. But Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, there's just a ton here. And it has just the digging mechanic in it, just adds so much flavor to it and requires a lot more skill. This game is a blast. I have so much fun with it. I want to keep playing it. Definitely frustrating when it crashes. Audio is pretty awful, but what's been great, like I said, I turned the audio off. I've been watching One Piece. I finally got into that. I'm on episode like 720, and I've been watching with it like a month. It's because of games like this. First started with Factorio. I could turn the audio off in Factorio and watch One Piece while playing the game. Now Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is that game. I can play it and watch TV and do just fine. So it's a super fun game. Also great cloud play as well. As we said, it just takes one stick. Technically, there is another button. You could press Y to taunt, which is an achievement. I don't know if you guys did it. I did it by accident. I hit it, and there's an achievement called Rock and Stone for it. And I was like, sweet. But yeah, you can taunt. But for me, yeah, this is a 90.
Yeah, I mean, I think my only real complaint, because I don't like, if I can turn off the audio and lose nothing of my gameplay from a sound cues, like we talked about, yes, the MC or whatever of the game, he's telling you what to do, but after you've played 5 or 6 runs, you don't need him telling you to run to the ship. You know to run to the ship. Maybe in Nature's case, you need a few more runs, but you
I
generally
said it happened like twice.
You said it was your 3rd run. You still didn't know. That's all I'm saying.
Loser.
But my point is that I'm never going to knock a game for its audio being annoying or repetitive if I can shut it off. If I need it for some reason and it's like that, then I hate it, or I can't shut it off, or whatever the case may be. So I'm not going to take that away from it. I love Survivor games. I love them. Aaron was asking, like, you want to study these games? I think, and maybe this is just for me, I have this dumb brain thing with like idle games, and you guys know this about me already.
No.
But I think that Survivor games they're like idle games in the aspect of you have this meta progression where it's just numbers go up, and you constantly make the numbers go higher and higher and higher. You want to get to the next run because they're going to go higher than the last run, and you do that over and over again, but with just enough activity that it's not truly an idle game. And I think that maybe there's some connection there. That's my theory, because that's how it does to my brain. But I love these styles. I love this. I agree with Andrew. I think this is my favorite one I've played so far. I was all in on Vampire Survivors. It's what made me love all of these games, but man, it's kind of boring now. You can just so outpace the game. And yeah, just another point of this is like a good friend of mine who does not play these games. He plays like Call of Duty and NBA 2K. Those are the games you know, Hunter, Andrew. He does not play these styles of games, and I had already been playing it, but he's like, dude, you have to check out this game. It's so much fun. Like, people who don't normally play these games have picked it up, at least that I know, and have enjoyed it. So I just absolutely give it a shot if you're still on Game Pass, if you still stuck around with the rest of us. And again, I think it's on the cheap tier, so it's available for everyone. So I'd give it a 92.
Yeah, so I'm with these guys. I think that this is probably the gold standard in Survivor games right now. I think Megabonk could get there. I still think that's kind of a growing and developing game at this point. I know it hit 1.0, but I'd imagine that game looks a lot different, a year from now than it does today. But as far as it goes for on Game Pass right now, you literally cannot do better than this right now. So I highly recommend downloading this game and giving it a try, because it's a ton of fun. Really just minor gripes here on the audio, on some performance issues, and then some variety on some of the bosses. Outside of that, it is really hard to find a lot of issues with the game here. I'm going to go with Keith on this one. I'm going to go with a 92.
Man, so I'm the lowest score.
I mean,
by
in the
2
90s.
points.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll
you
be
had a hard
alright.
time understanding the game. It makes sense.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
You didn't know how to get to the drop pod, loser.
I mean, I think
So
that's what Aaron docked blueprints for his inability to figure it out. So that makes sense.
So Keith, for the longest time, if anyone ever told me, what was Keith's favorite genre, I'd always say roguelike. But I'm curious, is it still your favorite genre? Or is it idle games or Survivor games?
Overall, roguelike still, because Survivor games, they're at worst cousins to a roguelike. I mean, they're basically that. It's just a different aspect of them. So I think they encompass all of it. So I think, I would still say like roguelikes, roguelites would be my top tier, but because of their kind of offshoots, idols aren't like that, but yeah, Survivors.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us this week. Alex, in our chat, I'm glad you're also a One Piece fan. I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird01952. Please make sure you go to GamePassGrabBag.com. Check out our past reviews. Go to our link tree, which will also be in the show notes. Come join us in our Discord. Chat it up with us. Like I said, we always love getting. It's easier for us to get game recommendations for people when they're in our Discord. It's easier for us to kind of keep track of it. But yeah, me and Keith are quite active on there. Check out our YouTube. We stream quite a bit on there. Also, check out our live. Whenever we record these every Wednesday around 9:00 EST. But yeah. I can't remember if I said, but yeah, I'm Andrew, hardcore gamer host. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird01952.
Yeah, I've been Keith, and well, Aaron just answered my question in the chat. Sworn is also a really cool one, but we'll get to that another day probably.
I played the first 3 minutes. It seemed a little clunky.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Ooh,
You want to say something, Aaron?
teaser. No, I don't want to say anything.
No, I just don't want to say anymore. It's no teaser.
Okay. Well, we love you all. We'll see you again next week.